We are soldiers.
Today I was so inspired, and I was sitting and writing maybe 3 hours in one go. I just lost the track of time in the morning, totally. And I looked, wow, it was 12:30 already from the morning. I was looking into this two different images, which are created by an involutionary movement of the mind and the evolutionary movement, of the senses, and the building up of the organs which perceive it. And there is a problem between the two, we are not seeing the same thing in the same manner. For example, animals or insects or others, they see a bit differently these images, yes, because they have different organs. But in the evolutionary sense, they see it differently. But in the involutionary, when idea is embodying itself in these kind of atoms clustering together, making some representation of idea, of the form of the idea, we see the same world. All of us, we have access to the same imagery. It is translated to us only differently only in the evolutionary sense, because we develop different organs and different formations. So we see different images of the same reality, but we understand it similar because of this involutionary setup. So that's why we can live in the coherent world with animals, insects, and everyone. We can find one another and have relations with each other, we and fish and insects and plants and so on. We react to each other not because of this evolutionary development of the form, but because of the involutionary ideal kind of creation of the form. You understand, there are two movements. And Sri Aurobindo says that there cannot be the evolution of the mind out of matter if mind is not there. So, and only the question is where it is. And he says it is in the energy and not in the atoms. So the energy itself is regulating these particles, yes, making them cluster and function in a particular manner, expressing a specific functionality, specific idea of itself, vision of itself. So the mind creates basically the form of the reality, because the idea there is expressed in the energy in such a way that it becomes that. And this we also see. We compare it with the image we have, and this difference of these two images is all we have. We never touch reality. We only deal with these two images. In between them we kind of function. And this was really something. When I was writing and thinking about it, there was such a powerful, overwhelming presence that I think this is the right direction of thinking. We don't deal with reality. We never touch the being. We only see what consciousness represents, how it shows us the being. We see the image. And through that image, which is true, always true. It's untrue only when we make fancy of it. But whatever we perceive is true. We have an access to the reality. And as far as it is true, we have the better access to reality. More it is true, truer it is, better access we have, more efficient we can deal.
Yes, I am thinking about the same things, So how is it that you are doing something? I will show some videos. And these videos deal with vibrations. and how the vibrations create forms, and how you understand the form only when you hear the vibration. Now that this energy, what baffles me, it is that this energy is can be at the same time material, shaping material form, and be psychological. The thing is that while playing, I am very much into one image, let's say this image above the head. Now this creates a kind of oneness. By hearing, by listening to it, you can see, you can make out what deviates. And if you see this image, how sound creates forms, then you can see how it happens. It doesn't happen from form to form, but it happens gradually. It takes the shape. The matter takes the shape with the vibration of that form. Now you change the parameters of that form in your mind, in your image. You make it psychological. You make it vast. Then the form assumes another order. And the higher you go in the complexity, and in the higher you go in an image which is capable of assuming or penetrating all states or embracing all states, the more power has this vibration. Naturally, because if your mind goes against something in the subconscious, which organizes the subconscious and the conscious, both they act on this creation of the vibration. So if you have a wrong idea in your mind, then it will go against this natural flow of prana.
Right. Right.
And this one is phenomenal because you can hear it when you are doing it. Now, what happened lately, it is that it comes in form of presences, of a presence, like a presence of an image of a being. Now, this being doesn't come only in the presence of image, but it comes in the presence of powers. So the senses, these are powers of that presence. But then the senses obey to that psychological factor of that presence. So when people play music, they give themselves to a kind of partial emotion that jumps on them, that reacts automatically when they start playing, and they see this image, and they follow that image, and naturally it becomes partial, and it becomes whatever, sad or I don't know what. No. And these kind of things don't correspond to your true being. It is not that that there is not possible the sadness, but the sadness is transmuted into another thing. It is not sad. It is rather compassion or whatever. It is of a higher vibratory state. It looks into it never stops looking into infinity. It never forgets its origin, so to say. And then that what you are playing becomes different. And this personality which you see becomes more and more concrete. It's as if it would appear in the. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Rod.
You see us?
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't hear. Do you hear us, Rod? Can you hear?
I see you. Yeah, I have a pretty unstable connection this morning.
Okay. Yeah. Few people are busy today. That's what I was telling. Richard and Julia cannot join us today, and Gunhild is on one event, musical event, and Bindu is in the traffic jam. I'm just informing you also. They may not come today, but next time maybe they will come. And they said that they will attend our recording, listen to our recording. Okay, we were just in the middle of discussion of very interesting. Please go ahead, Latso.
No, it would mean to restart again.
Yeah, you restart again. This is really good. He was already.
Yeah, we were speaking about the image that you have when you are playing or when you are reciting something. Of that, what were we saying? That. Well, the idea was bigger like this. We said that.
Yeah, I have my thinking about it, which I was kind of preoccupied with from the moment you said that there is no image of things, and I was thinking about it because Shiv Bindu is using this totally and constantly about holding the image of things and so on. And then I realized actually much more interesting things on. I will tell you the presumption, and then we'll come to Latso's presentation. Sorry to interrupt, maybe 1 minute, just to explain the context, and maybe this will create the entry. The idea is that we deal with being only through consciousness. We can't deal with being by being without consciousness. Yes, it doesn't work this way. Even by force, pushing one body with another, the consciousness will be there, intermediary. Yes, it would not happen because. And I thought, why we can't touch being by being? Because, and I understood. Because there is only one being, by the way. This is what Heidegger finally comes to. There is only one being, in a way, and this being cannot be manipulated by other being because it is the same being. So the whole phenomenon of consciousness, of space and time, is created by consciousness. It kind of portrays or presents the being in a particular way to us. So we have a sense of different beings, or we get this multiplicity of things, and this is what creation is about. So in a way, we will always have a representational being by consciousness, and this representation, I thought, is the image. And then I saw that there are different images. There is an idea or vision of the higher consciousness which creates things and makes them what they are, and so to say, involutionary image. And the other is that which is created by evolutionary process of sense mind, so through organs which are created in evolutionary process, which differs from the concept, so to say. And this mismatch between the sense mind and the conceptual or involutionary participation and creation of form is exactly where we are. We are in between these two. And we are trying to match these two into one. And when they match, then we say that we got the understanding, or we got the real perception or something of the truth. But we are dealing with representation by consciousness only of this being. Yeah? And it started with this, that we are all, if we enlarge the scale, we will see that we are atoms and electrons and these photons. We are emitting photons and absorbing photons. There's something going on in this universe of ours. And then these photons and electrons and protons and atoms are clustering in some way to build a certain functionality, and so on and so forth, how they cluster and why. And Sri Aurobindo deals with this in the Canon. And he says, if we examine these atoms, we will not find their mind. Though he says that mind has to be involved in order to evolve out of matter. Where is this mind there in the photons and electrons and atoms? We can't find it there. If we even want to find it, we will not find it. And then he says that it is in the energy. And that was a revelation for me. It's in the energy. The mind is in the energy, not in the atoms, not in these particles, but in their energy. So this energy is organizing them in a particular form, format, image, to what? To manifest the idea, yes, to manifest some higher vision of consciousness. And the whole reality, what we see around us, is this image with which we are dealing. We don't see photons, electrons, atoms. We don't touch them. We see that projection of consciousness which it made, creating these forms. This was their thinking. And we started with this discussion of Lazo. I would like you to comment on it later, on this road, if you could, or think about it, because...
I can.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. That's why. Because you came up to the level where there was the level of ideas, you know, and from that, and then you left us there in this open space of ideas.
Yeah, you know, I'm aware of this point of view that you have just expressed, and it's a quite a elaborated point of view in Buddhism and philosophy. A kind of extreme form of idealism that there is nothing but mind. Finally, everything reduces to mind, as far as we are concerned.
Well, we discussed this issue from this point of view, so we want to see how these things came into being. Yes, we don't see them coming. We don't see mind in the atoms, and
we don't see atoms either.
Yeah, we also don't see atoms even, but we see the light.
Atoms are theoretical constructs.
Right. Yeah.
So in this point of view, everything is an image or a construct of the mind.
Yeah, if you increase the scale, you will see that it is kind of true that this solid, if we press with one solid on another solid, we don't even press. There will be the energy field, which will come closer and closer and closer, and there will be more and more and more and more resistance, and then there will be such resistance that it will break. But there will be no pressure on solid surface, on the solid surface. There will be no touch, even approximately. There will be energies involved, fields involved.
The idea of 7 planes of existence that have different laws gives a certain status to each of those planes. And so the vital plane, for example, is uh, full of and those are not the same as the quantum substrate, which they can be reduced to according to some theories. And all the beings of universal force and power that are generally known as gods are other than the life plane. So we can know each of these in terms of our representational theoretical mind, but they also have an existence in themselves.
Mm.
And the idea of vijnana is not that you know these things secondhand, but they are the force of being, and consciousness is those realities. So if consciousness is, in fact, and the Buddhists say this also, the Sambhoga Kaya, or the divine mind in Western thinking, if those universal forces are realities in themselves, then we can either form an image of those, or we can, by identity, be them.
Mm.
And if we are them, if we are universal love or universal power, that's different from having an image of it.
Right. Understand now what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. We can simply be without imaging them to ourselves or to others. If we want to do it, we can also do it that, but we can be simultaneously something different from that image, so to say, because being is by itself, by being, does not require consciousness to tell it what it is.
No, it knows what it is of itself.
Right. Well, in that sense, it is automatically from consciousness looking at it in the moment of being, yes. But it doesn't make an image in between to kind of, yes, to facilitate the being.
I think for philosophy, I think the distinction that has to be made is that an image implies there is consciousness and an object. That consciousness has an object which it holds, and that idea dominates the field of epistemology, to the exclusion of the possibility of knowledge by identity. As long as you think of consciousness as having an object, then you make a separation, which is normal. It's a normal thing for the philosophical mind to do.
Yes.
But it's not the end of the story.
Yeah, well, in this world, divided world, we have sense and an object of sense. It operates by this division, but in the reality which comes from which this world comes, that division is not needed. There, it is one, and so the consciousness is part of that being. Being is conscious, and in that sense, it does not require the image. This I understand. Okay, thank you for clarification. It's nice to hear it. Ladislav, would you like to take over? It's your presentation today, please.
Okay. But basically, it is about the same thing, you know, what we were talking about. Because but however, you know, I am asking myself, when you project your consciousness, the question is, you have to project it into a realm which you don't see, where you cannot form an image. So you don't have an image of that, what it is. We were talking about this holding the vertical line. And once you start holding it, you start holding as if you would hold yourself. On behalf of that, what happens while you are executing the musical piece. Now, it comes on you that what comes from hearing, and you discover the self. It throws back on you the standing of the self, the form, and its powers, and they start moving the whole thing again. So it is a kind of circle. May I show you this desktop thing? How do you do that?
Okay, 1 second. I will give you the rights to do it. 1 second. I make you a host, so you will have to say yes to it, and then you will be doing it.
What do you say?
I have sent it already to you. I made you a host. You can go ahead and do it. Okay. You can project your...
Where do you do it? You know, can you tell me?
Okay, you have to go to this share screen.
Click. Yes. Okay, I got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we see your desktop.
Can you see?
Yeah, integral paradigm and the musical execution.
Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, we were talking about the form and about the vibration, what it does, no? Mm-hmm. So I have here a video, at least a part of it. Mm-hmm. You know these pictures. So I won't show everything, but anyway, it is, you know this man, Chladny. He has invented this kind of things where he pours this kind of things, sand on a plate, and then he.
Okay.
He just does it with a bow, moves the whole thing, and depending on the speed, it creates different images. Mm-hmm. Incredible, huh? The tortoise. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine that when you are playing, then forms like this, they are being produced into the atmosphere. Everything starts to resonate in this kind of way. So you can know about yourself, about these powers of making these forms only by listening to it. By listening to it, you get a kind of inspired by these forms of beauty and of relations. Because what are these forms? They are just forces that relate in a certain way, and this one it acts on you, on your emotional being as a kind of center which senses the beauty, which senses this organization of relations of these forms. Now, this is just water, and this is sand. What it does with organic stuff is incredible. So this one would be then what it does with starch. When you pour starch into water, then and you start making it sound, it makes such forms. Incredible, huh? And all these things, they give a variety to your imagination, which is extraordinary. So basically, you can, with your imagination and with your personality, you can see in it and project into it whatever you want. And by that projection, you start shaping it, because you have the instrument in the hand. So you shape that what you are listening to. Now the question is then who you are. In what kind of person you want to be, or you intend to be, to shape the thing according to that person who you want to be. Now I believe that this kind of musical experience can take you somewhere where you even don't know who you are. It means that on a discovery of that experience of being, and this naturally becomes very dangerous, because you will have to get away with all that thought and with all that imprints life has given you, and has told you you have to do like this, and this is done like this, and this is done like that. So that's why I opt to the concentration on that vertical line, which for me is an experience of connection. Now, I have found in this book by Medananda, I found this kind of thing. Do you know these things, Rod?
Yes, I do.
And I find them for the sake of practice. I find them very inspiring. Inspiring as giving you another support to that. Now this hieroglyph for obelisk, this is the way up. And he says the obelisks are sophisticated evolved forms of the Stone Age menhirs, and like them purely monolithic. They are all meant as communication signs to tell coming generations, see the way out is not right or left, north or south, east or west. Now they say that sunbeam, that this one, sunbeam becoming stone, the connection between the here and the realm of the sun god, Re. So whatever this might be, in practice it becomes, however, something that will give another shape to that form which you are dealing with. Because you enter in a kind of psychological, into this one, you enter into a kind of aspiration, into an aspiration, and into kind of stillness, and not the insistence of your own mind to project into it something, but aspirational receptivity. And you have to experience it in order You have to study that. Now, there is another sign for this, and this is night. And this is another interesting sign because it gives other clues to this connection between that world and this world here. And what is interesting, I will read it now. Having accepted to be projected out into the manifest world, we are now asked, in order to become the masters of our own destiny, to learn to project ourselves at will back into our origin. It is not an easy task to realize a movement supposed to happen only at the end of a yogic life, as a transcendental achievement, a crowning bliss. In ancient Greece, the hero Heracles learned archery from Phoebus, Apollo himself, the personification of the sun, and a symbol of illumination. The movement to be practiced was to project himself directly into the sun. The same frightening separation was there for him to conquer, hidden in the name of Apollo. Phoebus, Greek Phoebos, is the sun, but behind the act of projecting himself back into stood Phobos, the terror. Now I want to ask you to comment on this, if you have a comment, because I find that it is exactly that what happens, at least in the beginning, that you don't want to go away from the known into something unknown, and especially, well, in whatever field. And this one, for me, it was something that you stand just apart. You cannot connect anymore to in the life of music.
There is more to it. If we take this mythological image, what it says, if I compare it with the Rig Veda, especially I think it is in the fifth mandala in 30, number 30, to Indra. And there is this mentioning of the supermind and the creation of the overmental realms. The realms of the ray of the sun. Notice it fits very well here. Not the sun, but the ray of the sun. So the difference between the realm of the sun and the ray of the sun is that out of the sun there will be some separation. The ray will come. By the way, it's very interesting because I watched 2 hours BBC film on the sun the other day, and I was shocked, it is explained how these rays are coming out of the sun, physically, theoretically in the physics. And there is a core in the sun which creates this gamma radiation, which is very, very powerful radiation, which destroys everything. And these photons, with a huge speed and energy, travel through the body of the sun. And there are several layers in the body of the sun. The first layer is that where the plasma is created. And this photon goes in and it is misled all the time somewhere else. Caught and misled, turned upside down, and it travels with a huge speed, with huge energy through that layer of the sun for million years. It cannot be released. It heats up the whole stuff, the whole gas in the sun, and creates plasma in it because of its huge energy. So it is not released. It loses half of or some part of its energy there, and it comes to another level and another level. And then from the core, finally, when it lost nearly everything, it is ready to shine out to us what we know as the ray of the sun. After million years traveling in the body of the sun, it is ready to leave the sun. I was shocked to hear this. I never knew that it is such a process. So it creates plasma body in the sun because it is not released immediately. And then when it is released, it seems that there is magnetic huge field, or this kind of magnetism of the sun, which is traveling with different speed than sun rotates and creates these loops, and does not allow even then for this ray to come. It comes out and goes back somehow, and then finally it releases itself and travels into the space. So what we see, they say, we see the 1,000,000 years old ray of the sun. And this is kind of amazing to think. What a pain to come out of the body of the sun for this ray to reach out to our...
My question is, if it is whatever sun it might be, psychological, if it is possible to reflect it in your action.
Yeah, well, yes. One second, and let me finish with the Vedic imagery, which is very interesting. Why I mentioned this, because it suddenly made sense that this physical event, or what was the physical kind of theoretical framework thinking about the rays, is somehow intuitively corresponds to this mythological, where it is said that the rays of the sun, when they leave the body of the sun, in transcendental, that means supramental sun, they meet the penetration of the darkness. The darkness is already there, and this darkness is the cause of the appearance of this overmental realm. It pervades the sun and meets his rays and separates them from its body. And this is something interesting, because here it is exactly this one, the terror which comes, of separation from the body of from your homeland. You leave out, you go into this space elsewhere, you travel to other lands, you are not coming back, And that is something to think of this terror. So the overmental realms are created with the help of this abhava, of this abyss of darkness, of inconscient. It is reaching up to the surface of the sun and meets the emission of these rays, the emanation of the sun. It's kind of interesting to think. Now, that's what I wanted to say.
It's an image.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it explains something about always come to it when I think about overmind.
In the Tibetan teaching about death, there are 3 stages, and they speak of the death experience, which is the process of the body dissolving and consciousness being liberated from all of the different planes of karmic impressions, as potentially creating terror. But beyond that is the next stage, which they call the Dharma, the Dharmakaya, the absolute light and bliss. And they say that if you prepare yourself in life, and this is the story of Savitri also, then that process of dissolving the body isn't fearful to you, because you've already achieved the the Dharma, Dara state. And then the third part of the process is reforming your next incarnation from that state of bliss. They call that the becoming stage. So it's like a temporal progression in the process of the soul leaving the body and entering back into the light, and then reforming again anew, being with different sheaths. You could probably see that as a parallel to the image that you've just communicated, of the generation from the absolute sun of being, which has no form, eventually emitting a new soul or force of existence that will have another cycle of experience to go through.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
The creative process must be a bit like that too.
Yeah, I want to show you something.
Everything is a kind of parallel of everything else.
Mm.
But this one, and you see,
Mm-hmm.
this one is the only. We went through all of them, all these recordings of the Seventh Symphony, second movement. Now, in this symphony, I believe that Furtwängler, it was in 1943 that he has recorded it. So you hear a lot of people who have respiratory problems.
Coughing.
Oh, yeah. But when you listen carefully, then you will see that he holds the lines. He holds the. You can project into it, and you can see that he holds the vertical line very carefully as a kind of psychological being there, and that what is happening as a kind of that what will emanate, what will have the force to become something out of that what it is now. I cannot say it in another way, but you want to hear it? Let's see.
Can we hear it?
I hope so.
I can't hear this. We can. But not very good. No.
You can listen to it. You just I can send you the
Yeah,
link.
it's better because it is, it has this a reduction of the noise, so it cuts all the subtleties of music. We hear only major line. Yeah.
What you can hear.
Maybe you could increase the volume.
Or maybe something like this.
What you can hear, it is it is the time that he holds it, and we will come then in this to the senses and to the taste and how time of your execution when you hold something in front of the consciousness. So in order to taste it or to make it valid, you have to hold it in a certain way or for a certain length of time. You exceed that, you can see that this guy is not tasting it. You diminish it, you know that he is not tasting it. So it is a time-bound phenomenon. It is like giving and knowing the flow of the thing. And I believe that you can. I try to increase it, the volume. but okay. Sorry.
No, go ahead, increase it.
It has nothing to do with that. It is here. Never mind.
Okay. It is this automatic AGS, yes, so automatic gain control. This you cannot make it in presentation, unfortunately.
You know, it is too bad because I increased it already 100% here.
Right.
I can't hear it.
You can't?
Now I hear it. Sometimes it comes.
No, it is just something incredible because this man was extraordinary. There was Celibi Dake, also an extraordinary man, a very spiritual, Buddhist, as he said. And he was speaking about the seventh octave over, which a realm that you cannot hear, but which has an influence on that what you are doing. And that Furtwängler had this power to play such music in such a way during the war and to withstand all that pressure which was there is something incredible. What has happened, it was that the next one was Karajan, who has succeeded him, and Karajan could never get it. But somehow he was so eager to make up that he realized something at the end of his life. So it swapped over this kind of presence of Furtwängler. And in the last interview that he gave, he said that for sure there is life after death, and that he will continue next life to do music and to fulfill what he has missed. He was speaking so badly about himself that when they said, but your previous recordings, etc., and he said, all rubbish. So it is an interesting fact because these were two musicians which were standing very high in the limelight of the Western world. What I wanted to make you hear, it is this presence that is there, and how because there are not many people who can play like that. And there are fantastic musicians. It is not necessary that they have this capacity to hold that presence, be it an image or be it whatever. And I have gone through all the recordings that were there on YouTube to see what about this particular piece, and no one was holding it except Furtwängler. And you can listen when you go. It is just you can find it on YouTube. I don't need to send you anything. It is Beethoven Symphony No. 7, second movement. The other movements are not so explicit as this one. So this was about, it is always, the question here, it is always how you connect while you are doing something in practice. So that you are not concentrated, naturally you have to find your ways technically. But there is one thing which was interesting, which I found also in this book. By the way, I don't know if you know about the pyramid, because this obelisk has a pyramid at the end. This tip is a pyramid, and the square Medananda sees as a symbol of that what we are tracing. This is our foundation. It is the manifested universe, with the mental, with the vital, with the psyche, and what did you say, with the soul?
Physical.
Yes, yes, physical, vital, mental, and soul. And these four, they meet at the tip. So this kind of concentration, you know, I know that it is not, it doesn't seem very philosophical what I say, but as an experience, while you are acting, and while you are concentrated there, things change. Things change because you don't act anymore from your mind, and you don't see anymore that what you have to shape in a kind of with mental values, with a mental attitude, but you leave the mind and you give as if you would offer this experience to another kind of mind which would take over, which runs by intuition, which doesn't run by your active mind. Now these people, where is it? They had also a symbol for this. By the way, this one is also interesting. That in the hieroglyphs for obelisk we find mind as a kind of semicircle and hidden reality, which is a circle traversed through four lines, and the eternal vibration, which sustains all being and all things. So when you concentrate on it, you are capable of getting into a kind of vibration which you feel clearly. Now we were doing this one with Pushkar, and I told him without this kind of concentration to play a sound. So he was playing this sound, and I told him, "You are late." And the thing was that he was actually late. He was late to this vibration which you could feel. If you concentrate on it and you follow it, you enter into this kind of vibratory movement. And on behalf of that you feel it, that you are connected to it, whatever you do will be according to that vibration, and you will be in accordance with that vibration, whatever.
Ladislav, I'm sorry, I have to leave the meeting. I'll be back.
Okay.
But according to you, that means that this music is actually is entering in time. It's in time. It is presenting certain state of consciousness in a precise time-regulated vibration. Yeah. It's very, very interesting because it is so. Actually, you can create music with anything. Anything. You don't need even the instrument for it. Instrument is too sophisticated, too beautiful. But you can do with this, you can do with anything. You know, you take sticks, stick on the cupboard. I can make music with, because if my consciousness is in time, intact with time, and what I want to express through the sound, through the vibration is going through, is understood, is appreciated, the beauty of it, the enjoyment of it, that becomes music. In a way, everything is music.
Yeah, no, this one is not, you know, it seems so apart, because under all those interesting things which we talk about, it doesn't seem to have that value, because you don't know it, you don't know how to talk about it. You know it only from experience, if you know how to experience it. Even if you have to, you talked about sticks, and you know we are doing this stuff with the children. No? So we organize them, we are there, and we try to get exactly at this stuff. So you concentrate on that vibration. You make your body vibrate with that. And we have a kind of exercises, small exercises. You might know them. We have done it with a ball. No? So I count till 4, and then they have to throw it. So at 1, it falls down. 3, 4, 1. Now this one is also vibration. The object itself is a vibration.
Right.
Their consciousness has to identify itself with the rhythm that I am beating. At the same time, with that ball that is falling down, it has to imagine the ball falling down, and then at that moment, when you see the synchronization of these two, then you let it fall down. You have to, but it is not so easy, because you have to open your hands. You have to pre-see how to open your, when you have to open your hands.
Anticipate.
Anticipate. But you are always being in touch with that vibration.
Right.
Now that this vibration, I don't know, you remember Mother was having these experiences of these gushes of light of love. These explosions that were there, that were behind all creation. You know, it is everything intuitive, because I don't bother to prove anything to anyone. If it works. I know that it works, and I know that if we are all in touch with it, then it works also in a kind of global form. So it means that this is an experience that you do. And it is not something like the orchestra that you hear in the like a symphony orchestra. It is, if it is like Furtwängler, I mean, these guys, I don't know how good they were who were playing, but he could do music with everybody, because he had this power to assume this kind of vibration and to convince everybody to enter that kind of field. What was also interesting, it is that Furtwängler said people who were playing with him, they said that after Furtwängler left, they were playing with somebody else. And they had a specific sound which they created. It was enough that Furtwängler entered the room and the sound completely changed. So it is not that man personally, but he had the capacity of concentrating the consciousness in this way, or guiding the consciousness of these people who were present in this way, that they then become one body. Now this one is we can experiment it. It is possible, but it is a field of study. It is a field of becoming. It is not something that just you can show in a seminar. It is something that needs a lot of time until you get the faith that this kind of concentration over your head and this kind of perpendicular concentration is acting through you. And yeah. There was something else. Yeah, then we were coming to that whole realm of music which regards the senses and which regards the force, which is another chapter that we would have to open. I don't think that we have now the time to do that. What I find interesting that in that here is something else that they have brought in connection to this connection above, and this is that this one was Medananda who has brought it in. The first hieroglyph on the left, well, it is on the right, is a strange traffic sign indeed, but as a traffic sign it becomes quite clear. It represents two levels of self-awareness held high. Connected by a circular movement. These are these two. Here is man with his typical dilemma as a material physical being, separated from his higher level of functioning by a gap, which has to be crossed by a circular movement of rising and descending, of movement we have to learn and exercise. Once we know it, we participate in that vibratory flow of ascending and descending energies. We become a living pyramid. We realize ourselves. And I find also this indication is very useful, and it has also to do with receptivity, and it has to do with aspiration.
Yes, I think these ideas that music is expressed through the being, especially when he came into the room, and the very quality of sound has changed. Everybody played differently, and because he was there gathering the focus, yes. And he was the listener, the one who was hearing the music and gathering it in a particular fashion. So the sensitivity of the musician there would be that he would have to produce a particular sound for his hearing, yes, as a conductor. And in that sense, of course, we are always influenced by the consciousness which perceives what we say or what we think. That's why it's so important to have a quality listeners, not only those who are quality audience, yes. It depends on audience tremendously, to whom you will be playing, yes. You can't play it only to nobody, yes.
Yeah, I was listening reading lately. Mother was speaking with Satprem. And Satprem says, Mother, but you play so wonderfully. Why don't you play for this and these people? And she said, No, I will not. He says, but why? Yeah, because they don't know how to listen. They don't know how to appreciate.
Yeah, they are listening for something else. They don't listen to what she does, to her change of consciousness, yes.
And it was interesting. It was interesting that she said that, you know.
Mm-hmm. By the way, her music is unique in that sense. I always heard this, that when she plays, you can hear the conscious decision or conscious choice. It's not just playing something which works or which gives you a good sense. It's a kind of conscious music, conscious touch. Can you imagine that? Conscious touch by the finger? Doesn't matter what it would sound, matters that it was conscious, and whatever it would be there, whatever pressed, it would have an impact. it would have some kind of awakening impact on you.
Yeah, I was listening lately also because somebody died, a friend, and they were playing this music, quite long piece. And I saw parallels, you know. I saw parallels to this Furtwängler's music in this sense. It is a way of different listening to these things.
Right. And that's the beauty of music, that it is time related, you know. It is this pause and intensity and duration is everything. It can embody consciousness, or it can just lose everything. It will be only sound or vibration. It will not reflect that consciousness. It can embody your state. Even more, it can create a state, you know. It can create in you, while playing, more and more opening to the higher consciousness. It can do it. So
well, it yes, very much.
And you can be caught by it, and you can be obeying its own, you know, demands, and following it already, not yourself, but that thing which is expressing itself. And this is something really for the player.
Yeah, I want to make you see something come to my mind. Something about, again, from the same books, and it is about beauty. I was telling you, beauty is not the quality of an isolated object. Beauty is a relationship between all objects, provided there is a witness able to perceive it. Then beauty becomes a psychological event. The Lyud symbol of beauty also means resonance. That beauty is founded on the resonance of two or many is an important psychological discovery coming to us from ancient Egypt. I find this very nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then this one, Sri Aurobindo speaks of the possibility of developing a form of subjective felicity, the capacity to perceive everything as felicity, or its messenger, through the shock of beauty. The capacity to perceive everything as felicity, or its messenger, through the shock of beauty. I find this, just going through these symbols and going to practice, it always has an effect of sustaining that what you do. Okay.
Nice. Okay, we shall continue your presentation next time, and you did touch on a few things. There are many more slides waiting for us. Would be nice if we would a little bit more go in deeper into this, especially time related. I'm very interested in this topic, that hearing is space and time related, and it's not one thing at a time, you know, like one thing in time. It's one thing at a time, so to say. It creates by this flow, it creates a state of consciousness which can be unfolded gradually and can express very complex visions and emotions and so on. It would be interesting to go deeper into this time-related expression as a vibration of consciousness which wants to manifest something of its own, of its higher qualities or ideas or beauties, emotions, and Ananda. Basically, it wants to express Ananda in a particular way, which we all feel. We are always kind of trying to determine it by objects, by visions, by something more apprehensive. But truly speaking, it doesn't need to be. It can be in itself very sufficient already as a comprehensive expression of consciousness.
Yes, you know, but it becomes when it is complete. When it is incomplete, then the expression...
I know why. I just got the glimpse. Why it doesn't have to be apprehensive. It can stay comprehensive only. You know why? Because we are already here. We already have our selves and everything else. We don't need to apprehend anything else. We already apprehend our own selves. So basically, we need only to charge it, to fill it with comprehension. And that's what we are looking for. We are looking for the meaning of ourselves. And music can give us this experience. It's a good definition. Music is not a storyteller of some other events. It is telling us about ourselves directly. Yeah. Very nice. Okay, so shall we continue next time? Lazo.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. So we continue next time. So we will stop for today now. It's exactly the time we are coming to. And I will post the recording for others to listen. There were very nice ideas here and thoughts. Thank you very much, Lazo, for this beautiful presentation. Yeah. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, see you guys.